evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I am your host, the Incredible Sulk, and I hope you are having a great week, or had a great week, and now it is over, which is always good news, right? Unless it's your last week, and in that case, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But for everybody it is not their last week, welcome to the Sulk stream for our Friday show, right? We're going to have a good long Friday show, 3 and sometimes half hours. So I'm settling in, right? I got all my things. I'm good. I'm ready to do this. And I hope you guys are too. Well, yeah. Tonight we're doing a cryptid by the moniker Bearzilla. I know it says Bearzilla, but there was a miscommunication in our effects department, and I just rolled with it. I just decided to roll with it because I don't care, and there's more important things to worry about, like my burp. Welcome to the burp stream, and that really sets the tone for the show. I feel like this is really a good setup for the show. It's going to be one of those shows. Not sad, not angry, burpy. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a burpy show. And we'll see how that goes. You know, I'm constantly experimenting with new formats, and you guys should really appreciate my art. This is my art. What'd you guys do today? I had a good day of surfing today, so pretty happy about that. I caught some good ones. It's kind of flat, but I got a nice big board, and just cruising. So I felt pretty good about that. I might do it again tomorrow. There's a strong possibility I will. But anyways, Bearzilla, it doesn't really matter. Some sort of large creature that's out there in the woods, and we're gonna watch rednecks talk about it. Yeah, it's gonna be light watching tonight, or maybe it won't, because I'm not here to divine the future for you guys. We just kind of roll with it around here. You know how it is? You know what I mean? How it's like not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. This is a small time show, and I do it for fun. Well, I do it for money, but I do it mainly for fun and a small amount of money. And that's just the gist of it. So honestly, I didn't even watch this documentary. I just thought it had a funny concept, and I went with it. So if it sucks, it sucks. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to tell you. Do you want me to put more effort into this? No, thank you. I'm not interested. I'm just flat out uninterested. But thanks for coming anyway. So get comfy, get cozy, get a nice bottle of Shine, right? Do you have moonshine? If you have moonshine, please send it to me. By the way, if you guys got a moonshine hook, send me moonshine. I don't care if you make it in your bathtub or whatever. That says 311, by the way. Just send it to me, and I don't care if it turns me blind or whatnot, or like you commit federal crimes. Yeah, I'm not a fed, so it is what it is. If you're working, keep working. It's very important. You have to pay your bills, I understand. If you're driving, keep driving. You want to get there where you're going, unless you're driving a Tesla, in which case then you can watch me all you want. Pretty nice. I might get one. Not now. In several years. Depending on what happens. Anyways, thank you so much for coming. It's Friday night. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. And this is called The legend of the American werewolf on the loose. Boop. Enjoy.
In the dense forests of Kentucky
Was my first instinct. I was scared.
lives a monster that has been terrifying campers.
It has been linked to fatal attacks.
Does seem
Wait.
to just kill for pleasure.
And killing
As
cattle
you do,
for pleasure.
as some people do. Not me. Definitely not me. I kill out of compulsion.
The face off, the ears were off,
different.
the tongue was out.
It's an aggressive creature.
Locals call it Bearzilla.
Bearzilla.
Now, guys, if I say run, y'all run.
This is a banger intro. Banger intro. Silvis, Ardent, It's Okay to Be Christian, Onius, Kabuki, Background Noise,
Kentucky. A
Branham
small
Man,
rural state nestled in the eastern center
Obedient,
of the United
Dan
States.
Snot.
Famous for its horse racing, bourbon,
Welcome to the
and
cult,
bluegrass music.
everybody.
American history is
Branham
never
says you need to call it hooch. Does anybody have any hooch they would like to hooch me up with? Do they have a hoochie mama where they get their hooch from, or something like? I will hooch. I will imbibe your hooch, which sounds a lot grosser than it actually is.
far away here.
Yep,
It is in this state that we find the
Cult
forest
roll
of
call.
Daniel Boone
that is true, and I do notice when people don't show up, so it's kind of important.
and small wooden houses of the
I
pioneers.
do have like a book.
The era of the early settlers has long passed, but nature still dominates this landscape.
Nipples.
For
Yep.
centuries, locals have been told that the forest hides aggressive, potentially lethal creatures. The last on this list,
Yeah, mountain people, and mountain people. You know, you don't know what people are gonna do when they drink enough hooch, and that's the fun of hooch.
the Bearzilla,
That's why you get
a
hooched.
biped with werewolf-like
That's why you
features.
hooch it up.
I'm Jason Caldwell. I'm 31 years old.
You missing a few teeth, or are they just very separated? Are they practicing social distancing? Are your teeth afraid of COVID? This is serious, dude. You need braces, or just knock them out. Just knock those bad boys out. I doubt they're very healthy.
I've lived in Mount Sterling, Kentucky my whole life. I like to hunt, fish, and take care of my kids.
My name is Jeff Caldwell, and I'm his father. Got a great son here.
You guys
Really
have
proud
similar
of him.
teeth.
It's been 15 years since Jason
It
saw
runs in the family.
Bearzilla. The encounter has haunted him ever since.
Well, Jason, he always has been a hunter, you know. After this, he's uncomfortable being in the woods now by himself, you know. And I can understand why, you know.
Summer 99, me and 5 other guys camping.
Is he wearing a Star Wars shirt, and that's why they had to blotch it out? Right? Is that like an Imperial logo? I think that is.
I was going to graduate in a couple years, and we had a fishing trip planned the next day, you know. So we was going to be up early. No drinking that night.
Bullshit. 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 You're hammered now.
At all. You know, it was just good, clean fun. We go to sleep. 3
It sounds gay.
of us stay in the truck. 3 of us sleep in the tent. It's a small tent. Guys hear something, wake me up. It says something's around the tent. Open up the tent and look. I seen it 40 yards away, tall, 6 foot, 6.5, 7 foot tall, gray, silver-like creature. You know, it wasn't a human-like face, a little bit of a long muzzle, and then it was gone. It was just a feeling I've never felt, you know, seeing something like that. The other guys immediately had fear. I had fear. After, you know, I told them what I had seen, they was ready to go like I was. And, you know, the other guys was with us. They wasn't in the tent. They didn't get to see it. They didn't believe us. But we left. You know, we got out of there. So we haven't been camping back there again.
You know, I believe what he
Is
said.
this a cover
you know,
story?
'cause, well, in '96, I was coming home from a coon hunting competition.
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to say that.
About 4:30 in the morning, and
Did we get kicked off of YouTube already? Let me check my YouTube. I want to check my YouTube to make sure. Yep, and nobody's there. Nobody's at my YouTube. Yeah, it's actually kind of sad. It says 1 watching, but that's me.
I come around the road, and in a curve, and there was something come off the road, you know, and cross the road, about 6, 7 foot tall.
Background notice says shows on the doll where their bear touched you. It was probably hanging out with some chick, some feminist chick, and she was all like, I'm hanging out with this bear because men are just terrible. Men are just terrible. And now I control this bear. Why do women always assume they can control things? Why do you think you... Because when they're all like, would you rather hang out in the woods with a man or a bear? They're like, a bear, because I could easily control the bear far more easily than I can control the man. That's your reasoning, right? That's your reasoning. You think you're going to ride it around. It's not going to happen. You're not like a... What are those magical ones that control animals called? You know, the things. God, it's like a class in Dungeons of Dragons. And it doesn't matter.
You know, and it had a sort of a muzzle-like, pointed ears, or silver-like brown, you know, just different colors. And then I just swerved over, and then it just turned and went off over the hill, you know, and I'm gone, and it's gone. Who's going to make up a story like that, you know? And I thought maybe, you know, it's
not a Doolittle. It's not. No, but women are Doolittles. Hey. Got 'em. Got 'em. Got 'em in their lazy woman ways. Who's here? Brandon Meth. Kabuki's here. Who else is a girl in this chat? There's a few of them that show up.
Somebody, you know, maybe
Kabuki Ted says the anal ripper. Is that the name of the bear?
dressed up in
Is that the bear's
suit
name?
or something, but 4:30 in the morning, you know, on a road that's in Clark County, Kentucky, and, you know, who would be out that far? You know what I'm saying? Just nobody.
I stay in the woods, you know, I never see, you know, deer won't come close to us. Raccoons wouldn't make that kind of racket. There was nobody else down in them woods.
Odia says once the woman started talking, the bear would just eat her, and just because she's so fucking annoying. No, it wouldn't. The bear wouldn't care that it is annoying because it doesn't understand the English. However, it would eat her because, I mean, she's slow, she's harmless, and she's made of meat. So, it's pretty promising. And it will kill you. It will kill you immediately.
You know, I have no explanation
It's a
for
bear.
what it was. So it just prompted me to do more.
Druid, thank you. It's a druid. Thank you, Ardenshire. Thank you. Everybody else, Kabuki says it's an anal ripper. What class in D&D is an anal ripper? What is the anal ripper class? What is that, DPS? I mean, it must be, right? It's definitely not a healer.
Research, and that's when I found out about barrow.
Is that ranged? No, that's tanky. You're going right up to the battle. You're getting in the stink of things. Brandon S says 100 men versus one she-boon. Who would win? Now, when you say she-boon, do you mean like a black lady at the Walmart who is at the self-checkout and she's maybe scanning a third of her items? Or do you mean like an actual female baboon? Because I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm not going to fight a black lady. I don't want to fight a black lady. Just because you don't know where they've been. You don't know where they've been. You know, it's not safe. They have a pretty high rate of herpes. It's like very high. It's like most of them.
The town of Mount Sterling lies at the
That's not even racism, right? It comes from a place of racism. Yes, of course. But that fact is not racist in itself. Just like the crime statistics are not racist per se, but they lead to racist ideation.
Base of the Appalachian Mountains. Founded in 1790,
it
boasts
what it
7,000
is.
residents, every one of them proud of their history.
My name is Chip Manley. I'm a local high school history teacher here in Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Predator? Do you hit on the students, sir? Sir?
This was in many ways kind of a trading center, founded mostly by Scots, Irish, and English settlers who came here. Most people that are here trace their ancestry back quite a bit.
This
here in
guy's cool.
Kentucky.
He's about to walk
Descendants of
across.
a lot of those
Damn.
early settlers that came through here. Camping, hunting, very popular pastimes here in Montgomery County. Kind of a rite of passage for young people to have those skills passed on to them from their fathers and grandfathers. Here in Montgomery County, we're not very far from the Daniel Boone National Forest. A lot of that is...
Onia says he's had plenty of 15-year-old girlfriends. Yeah. Yeah. Arrest him. Arrest him.
Very much almost virgin.
Or is it, if this is Kentucky, so is that legal? Does that fly down there? Is there parental consent involved? These are all good questions, and he asked 0 of them. I know public school teachers. I'm well aware of the epidemic, if you can call it that, of public school teachers nailing their students. We're all aware of that. We're all pretty aware of that.
Forest.
In fact, everybody in the country is well aware of that. It's just not made fun of. It's not cracked on like the Catholics. Oh, the Catholic, you must rape little boys. Yeah, well, I mean, sure. From time to time. But nobody makes, oh, you're a teacher, you must really plow a lot of children. And that would be more apt. You know, that's a richer joke area, in my opinion, because it's truer, right? The Catholics, you know, it's a very small percentage of Catholic priests that do that. On the other hand, public school teacher, it's a very high percentage. It's a very high percentage. And nobody seems to be doing anything to stop it or even rein it in any way. And you always get new articles every day about how, like, some school teacher got railed by, 15 of her students and stuff. And everyone's all like, that's funny. It's not funny. She's fat. She's fat.
We still have a real glimpse into what Kentucky looked like 300, 400 years ago before all the settlement came in. In Kentucky, there have been a lot of cryptid sightings reported in the last several decades of Bearzilla, literally from one end of the state to the next. Once you get outside of the cities and the small towns, you quickly run into a lot of just open farmland, a lot of wilderness, especially to the east of here. So for things to live in those areas outside of the usual traffic of humans here in Kentucky, it's quite possible that every now and again their paths intersect with them.
It's still bright out. Yeah. I mean, it's not even quite dark here. It's just, that's daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is a problem.
Those creatures in that wilderness.
There's the Arby's in the Waffle House, everybody. Who goes to Arby's? I remember they have the $5 cheddars, or like the 5 for $5 cheddars. That was a deal, man. That was a deal. Now it's like $5 for one. And then that just makes you sad. It just bums you out. Doesn't that just bum you out? Whether you like Arby's or not, the economy is screwed. It's fucked. It's a bummer. It sucks.
In these isolated areas, everyone has something to say about the rumors of monsters lurking in the forest.
Most people have heard the stories because the stories go way back in history in Kentucky. My mother has old stories of seeing creatures in the woods.
I tell my grandkids all the time, there aren't no such thing as monsters.
Well, it's been about a year ago. I was driving home.
Driving home. Okay.
Something go across the road in about 4 steps. It was just outside of where my headlights would reach, so I just kind of got a glimpse of it.
There's some wild bear and normal things, but no gorilla.
Despite it says 5 for $5 roast beef rule, I don't think that included beef and cheddars. I think it did include the beef and cheddars, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a long time. Back when I was a kid, you used to get 5 beef and cheddars for $5. Nope. It's like those people that used to say they got a Hershey's bar for a nickel, which is amazing. Can you even find nickels? Do people use nickels still? They kind of phased out the penny because it just wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. They used to be worth something. But now it costs like, what, 3 cents to make a penny? Minimum? And they're not even copper anymore. They're copper colored.
It's dark in color.
This
Very
whole shit's
large,
gonna
probably
collapse.
7, 8 foot tall.
And I'm just
He
waiting
said there's a
until it
gorilla.
does.
He's pulling your leg.
You know, I say it was very large, so I've never seen nothing like that there. I can't say that it was a Bearzilla, but I can't really tell you what it was.
I don't know. It might have been me.
Jess, do we have any alcohol? I have to get on these people's level. The Kentuckians and my chat. I assume you're all drunk.
I'm the meanest thing in Mount Sterling.
I don't even know where an Arby's is around here. Onia says I do like Arby's gyros. I don't even know where there's an This is Florida. Are they in Florida? They were in California. I don't think I've seen one in Florida. They have different things. They have like Shake Shacks. They have like Steak and Shakes. They have Buc-ee's. We didn't have Buc-ee's in California. They have Publix. Publix fucking is awesome. I love the Publix. They got like really good cookies, and like pub subs are legit, dude. Pub subs are legit. One thing I do wish they had was a In-N-Out. They don't have In-N-Outs here, which is a bummer. In-N-Out, a lot of people say In-N-Out was like overhyped and stuff. They're all like, oh, it's not overhyped. It's good. It's good. I don't care what you say. That is one thing I actually miss is In-N-Outs. But besides that, not much. Not much I miss in California. Onia says Steak and Shake's not as good anymore. Now just kind of okay. I have had Steak and Shakes. And it was exactly as you described. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. At least they have Chick-fil-A's here. Chick-fil-A's are plentiful. Despite what you heard, fuck yes, a chicken tender pub sub on a Sunday with a Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I'm not a big Dr. Pepper guy, but the pub sub, the chicken tender pub sub slaps, dude. It's delicious. If you ever get the chance, grab one. Obedience says animal sauce is not that amazing. Never, I didn't like the animal sauce. What are you doing? I said alcohol. This is water. God! So get some potatoes, put them in some sort of mash, and then make me some shine, woman. Wait. Look about the fridge. Nothing? I drank it all on my last go around. I did drink a bottle of like apricot wine, which I just found out there, and I was like, whew. The next day I was like, that was a bad idea. I was very hungover. I was very hungover from that.
In Kentucky, if you think you've
She
seen a
can't
monster,
even make me like. She can't even make a mash of like proper moonshine. I want the blinding kind. That's like mostly antifreeze. I need antifreeze moonshine. That's what I need.
or the paranormal knocks on your door, it's Ron Coffee you'd call to the rescue.
And my name's Ron Coffee. I started this 40 years ago.
Rushy Matt says, cook your own food, you lazy fag. First of all, I have a wife, so that's why I don't cook my own food. And what? Sometimes I like to go get a pub sub. That's it. I don't eat fast food all that often, but I don't consider pub subs fast food because the line is always long as shit.
So we were considered cooks.
I am Lori Coffee. I am the wife of Ron Coffee. He's a cryptozoologist.
Wow. Your parents must have been proud when you married a cryptozoologist. Really bringing in the big bucks. Living in Kentucky and you married a cryptozoologist. You could have, I guess you can make it in Kentucky. I don't think it's that expensive there.
Wide for studying the gorilla.
Cryptozoology means it's an animal that...
My wife made shepherd's pie and I burped and it tasted like shepherd's pie. It was delicious, by the way. And it was really good.
is known,
it was really
but
good.
identified. And once it becomes identified, then it comes into the field of zoology.
Ardenshire says the blinding from moonshine comes from not purging the small amount of methanol that comes from distillation. Methanol will kill you. Yeah, so typically what you do is you throw away the first cup and a half of whatever comes out of that little copper tube because that's the stuff that'll kill you. Now, if you got some hair on your chest, you'll shoot that. You'll put that right in your gullet. But, you know, for you city slickers, you should probably throw that away because it will blind you.
Ron and I started the Gateway Paranormal Society back in 2008. Together, Ron and I researched big.
You think they're swingers? You think they'd swing with Bigfoot? She would.
Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
She'd let Nessie have it too.
I'm sure that the Bearzilla.
She'd let Nessie hit it.
Bigfoot and all that one day.
She's a freak.
Known, but right
she married
now,
a cryptozoologist. They are known for being a little bit loose.
We don't know what they are.
The Bearzilla, however, I let Ron handle. It's more aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you let Ron handle that Bearzilla.
Than any of the other.
I don't even have to make these sex jokes. I just don't know what to say about a cryptozoologist's wife. I mean, you make bad decisions. People make bad decisions.
Cryptids we've encountered.
According to Ron, you need a certain amount of background information to better understand the Bearzilla phenomenon.
Well, first off, the name. How did you get that name? Back in 1972, a farmer
Here's
saw
the story.
a wolf across the road in front of him, described as solid white, long-haired, rather hunched over. But anyway, he was the first person to actually go to the media about it in 1972. And the only words...
Background noise says he's got a cryptozoologist mom, got the certificate hanging up on the fridge and everything. Is it at least laminated? Is it at the very least laminated? I mean, you don't have to put it on your wall in a fancy frame. Like, oh, look, I went to the Harvard School of Cryptozoology. It's a mail. It's by mail. And Harvard is spelled with 3 R's. So it didn't, found it in the back of a magazine.
She could think of to describe it was it's half bear and half gorilla. The news media picked up.
Scott says same amount of methanol is in wine and beer. Do you do know corn mash is essential corn beer, right? No, I don't know that.
Called it the Bearzilla.
I don't know shit.
So that's how it got to be the Bearzilla. And then there's a whole rash of...
That's why you felt like shite after drinking all the dessert wine was all the methanol in it. What is this?
That's the very last bit of that.
Oh!
Of that orange citrus gin. Like
Ooh.
gin. Yeah. It's the very last bit. So that's all.
Let's see. It's a little bit. It looks like Kool-Aid, right? It might not. She's been trying to poison me for years to get at the inheritance money.
I told you
and
that.
That sweet, sweet inheritance money, right?
So close.
Not happening today, bitch. That was really not that much, but it was gin.
Sightings long about that
90% sure. I was pretty sure that was gin. That could have just been isopropyl alcohol.
Most people just describe it as basically a... People use the word werewolf.
Let's see if that loosens me up. I kind of doubt it will because it was so little and I am big, but we'll see.
Is being the best description, and I hate to use...
Don't drink anything with meth in it. Rushing? Mind your business.
That word because people automatically get the wrong idea.
Mind your business.
I don't believe in werewolves, not in the traditional sense, but that's the description most people give. It looks like a werewolf.
Aside from minor differences, witness...
Honey, go to the store. The kids are asleep. We're at the beach all day long.
testimonies are remarkably consistent. The Bearzilla...
Let us know if your vision starts to fade. Dude, my vision died a long time ago.
...is described as being about 2 meters...
Oh, you're talking about like how I can see. Yeah.
...tall, with a coat of black and silver fur, able to...
This is not a bear. And what... This is what I wear to furry conventions. Do I have that sexy furry up? Let's see. No.
People on Instagram.
That's the whores. That's that one lady. I think I got rid of it. I think I got rid of it because it was just it's horrific. It was horrific. And I don't close any of my tabs. So here we are. Watch out for Bearzilla, everybody. He's got 9 inches for you. Rock hard Bearzilla. My God. See? Spitting image. The spitting image. I should just dress like this and then run around those woods. Giving come hither looks to rednecks with really far spaced out teeth.
To move on 2 or 4 legs. It has a wolf-like face, long, menacing arms, and sharp claws and teeth. If you see one, run.
Why? Why would I run from that? Why would I run? What? Ladies, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man or Bearzilla here? That's the question, right? That's the question. Like, you're getting raped either way. Now, how do you like it? How do you like it served up? Do you like it a little bit on the wild side? That's a bear will eat you, right? Bearzilla will treat you.
It was during his childhood, on a terrifying summer
No,
night
I'm not
woods,
selling those.
that
I'm not selling
Ron
those.
Coffey's quest began.
It's okay, but Christian says, those t-shirts I made you would sell, John. Yeah, sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes it's just not about money.
Cousins and I were someplace we weren't supposed to be, of course. We saw what looked like a very large dog walking on all fours toward us. It comes up on 2 legs and lets that kind of a
Rushing Matt says that's bestiality. Yeah, it is.
Screech, howl type sound.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, women are saying they want to fuck a bear over a man. So, are women perverts? Yeah. Yes, they are. Without exception. Every last one of them. Women, you got to be a pervert to let a guy stick his dick in you. I'm just telling you, right? The gays, everybody knows they're perverts, right? But women, the straight women, are also perverts. These are facts. These are hard facts.
Tall.
It must make you crazy.
Had very long pointed ears, real long, elongated snout.
Rushing Matt says that dog knot would hurt. He understands.
And actually begins to chase us on 2 legs. Chased us probably about 20 feet. And then it veered off into a little trail back into some brush and disappeared. But it moved very quick and it was very adept on 2 legs. A bear doesn't move that way. A dog doesn't walk on 2 legs. So it had to have been something
I've seen a dog
totally
walk on 2
different to what we're used to. And of course we went back and told everybody we saw a werewolf. Of course everybody said we was crazy, but we were just kind of laughed at. So, that was the end of that story. We never saw it again. When we get together to this day, we still talk about that. So yeah, it stuck with all of us.
Why? Why do you talk about it?
Since then, Ron Coffey has never stopped looking for the monster. In 2012, Bearzilla resurfaced in the region.
Actually, a bit north of here in Waddy, there were reports in 2012 of a string of violent attacks. I'm a freelance reporter, and I worked at the Mount Sterling Advocate, a local newspaper here in Kentucky, for 3 years.
You'd be cute, but you're gaining weight, and you're gaining weight quickly. Like, you see those hips? She's getting a little muffin toppy.
There were just a lot of farm animals were mauled. It was over and over the same type of attack. It was the face off.
Could have been meth heads. Could have been meth heads.
The ears were off. The tongue was out. I think it was over like a span of 5 weeks that this happened. None of them were eaten, mostly viciously attacked, like it was almost for sport. So whatever the creature was that did this didn't really leave very.
Those are I'm not arguing with birthing hips. Look. Okay, there's birthing hips. And then I'm not saying she's not okay, right? She's probably a Kentucky 7. Have I been to Kentucky? It doesn't matter. She's probably a Kentucky 7. But yeah, she's getting a little thick on these, right around here. She's getting a little thick. I'm not like blaming her or anything, but reel it in. You can reel it in. It's not too late. It's not too late for you. But yeah, I like my women thin. I like them not able to fight off any sort of attacks.
Many traces behind, so it's just confusing to the residents.
I bet you she does
All
know
the
how to
attacks
noodle.
happened at night. And
Catfish with her fingers and stuff, yeah.
so nobody really got a good look at
She
it.
drinks
People
too
were
much
very
Bud
afraid.
Light.
A lot of people were taking
Maybe.
extra measures to lock up their animals at night. A lot of people weren't letting their children play outside. It did create a lot of panic
Rushing Matt said, I'd fuck her. Yeah.
in the area for months and months after,
Yeah,
after the attacks.
that doesn't surprise
I've
me.
spoken with a local cryptozoologist about
So KB Christian says, I hope she receives your message in time. Should I send her an owl or something like that? That like flies into her window like Harry Potter? And then she's like, oh, what is this magical owl? And she opens it and she's like, you're getting fat? You're getting fat? What? What? And she looks in the mirror and it like gives her a complex. And then hopefully she loses about, look, this is my personal preference. You could stand to lose 60 pounds, probably. I said I liked him thin. Auschwitz-y thin.
the incident,
Auschwitz-y
and I know that he's very credible in my opinion, and he
Barely able to keep conscious thin.
he sort of related it to what could possibly be known as a Bearzilla.
In his 40 years of research, Ron has studied dozens of cases of bloody attacks attributed to Bearzilla.
The Bearilla's got a real
That's a Marlboro Light face. That's an interesting way of putting it. I could see, yeah, that's an interesting way of putting
habit of being able to disappear. It's an aggressive creature. Really the first modern sighting.
Rushing says, I live in South Carolina. She is a 6 where I live. Well, South Carolina is pretty populated. Do you live anywhere near like Myrtle Beach? Because I bet there's some cute chicks down there. I'm just saying, it's not Kentucky. Kentucky's different. Kentucky's landlocked. South Carolina is probably pretty nice.
It happened actually in 1944. A teenage boy was fishing, and it actually tried to take his fish. And he described some creature came up out of the bank. He described it as large, wolf-like, silver gray hair. So he put up a fight with the thing. Now, he lost. He said it turned around and actually grinned at him and walked on off with the fish, but he had to be treated at a hospital for deep lacerations. And the way we know this happened was some of the hospital employees actually leaked this information out.
The only fatal attack of a human occurred in 1981.
It never was officially listed in any newspapers.
Okay, so it wasn't officially a Bearzilla attack. He didn't die of Bearzilla, which would have been a great headstone, right? If they just like made some sort of panel of him getting ripped apart by some sort of, just ripped apart by this guy, and just getting ripped limb from limb by this guy and completely uncensored, like his huge dong hanging down, or not even completely erect, right? Gravestone. I should design gravestones. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that.
Leaked out actually just kind of by word of mouth from the people who originally responded. The police found a camper, door ripped off, blood smeared on the camper, and they found remains of people, not whole bodies, remains of people. One of the hands was clutching a
LBL
handful
story
of
is kind of cool.
grayish hair. And they actually found the girl too. She was up in a tree about 20, 30 feet up in a tree hanging over a branch, what was left of her. And the tree bark had the same grayish colored hair that was in the hand. And then it just basically story just dried up. And some of the original responders have said that they were actually threatened by government officials not to tell anything they had seen, because actually the whole economy of that area is based on that recreational area. You know, you wouldn't want something like that to get out. That would not be good for the economy. And like I said, that's the only one where it's been really implicated and it could have been a murder of humans.
Uh-huh. Banger. Land Between the Lakes. What is that Land Between the Lakes? Werewolf story from 81. Find me a link. Find me a link and I'll play it. It's Friday. I don't give a fuck about Friday shows. They last a long time, and it's like, you know, it's kind of a marathon for me. So find it, and I will put it on. You guys watch this.
The history of Kentucky is
I have
closely
some
linked to the
alcohol
great
hidden
American
around
pioneers and their
here.
westward
I'm not
expansion.
An alcoholic.
The best
However,
known of them
I
is
am
Daniel
ashamed
Boone,
about the
who is to
amount I
this
drink.
day a local hero. The people of Kentucky have a love of nature and adventure in their blood.
I'm Miles Hoskins. I'm the president of the Montgomery County Historical Society here in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. Kentucky was actually opened up probably by the French Canadians. They came in here as early as 1650. They were probably coming down with the Iroquois Nation into Kentucky to trap beaver fur and do early exploration. Not much went on till about 1767 or so, when Boone traveled all over the eastern part of Kentucky.
So I got a
and
story.
He was a noted
I
Indian
got a
fighter.
story
He was
for you.
captured and lived with the
I got a
Indians.
story for you. So I walk out, and then this is sitting on the counter, and my wife had written a note on it, and she taped it, and it said, "Bad idea." And she's right. This is a terrible idea. But I have bad ideas. I'm filled with them.
Indians for some time. And, they called him
Scott says floorboard stash. Yeah, it's right next to all the bodies.
Turtle. They gave him an Indian name. But his
So Christian, he hides booze from his wife in his chat. No, she understands. She's all like, I care about you, but I know that you're gonna find this because sweet watermelon. Where the fuck are we getting this? I know we don't buy this. This had to come in some sort of gift basket, or like one of our friends left it. Oh God. It's 9%. So I mean, should I drink it? I'll let here. You got it says bad idea. So should I drink it?
basic role in Kentucky was
She knew I was gonna go out there and find it.
more or less leading people in here. He was the one that really got people fired up about coming to Kentucky.
Boone led many folks through the Wilderness Trail into Kentucky and is generally regarded as one of our great pioneers for
I
settlements.
don't have to lift out
Most of the
shit.
people probably came into Kentucky.
A cherry picker has to come and lift out stuff. I'll just sit there and like watch him do it, or I'll lay in bed and be like, "Oh man, she was right."
Those early days, some were literate, some weren't. So their oral histories had to be pretty important to them.
A man, that's okay if a Christian says a man did not buy that wine. No. You think I'm going to and be like, oh, sweet watermelon wine? Because it sounds awful. It sounds terrible. Should I drink it though? Should I drink the entire bottle?
At the time of the pioneers,
Should I chug the entire bottle? What is that? This is a show, all right? And I'm here to entertain. And I will put my body on the line to do so. Okay? Okay? That's how much I care about you guys. I'm actually going to put my body in pain just so you guys get a little bit of pleasure. Not sexual pleasure, but it depends on how much you pay.
when most of the U.S.
really
territory
depends
was
on
still
how much you pay.
unexplored, stories circulated about the danger.
Rushing Matt says, I would not touch that sweet shit to save a life. Yeah, dude, this is going to hurt. This is probably mostly sugar. Modesto, California. Modesto. You guys don't know Modesto. I know Modesto. Nothing good comes out of Modesto. Napa's right there. And this comes from Modesto. Modesto is the hood. So.
Of the forest.
The folks that settled this region, the Scots, the Irish, the English.
Obedience says, Bish, you got pylons in the creek. Yeah, but I finished the bridge. I finished taking down everything. I took multiple days off of Daywave to finish that stupid bridge, and I finished it. And the pylons are the only thing that's left. And then my father-in-law is going to bring over the bucket truck, and he's going to rip them out of the creek. All I have to do is wrap some chains around them. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You don't think I can handle a little bit of sweet watermelon? Huh? You don't think I can? Why is this even in our house? It shouldn't be in our house. It's really... Honey, can you get me some ice? Because I bet this will be delightful over ice.
They brought their superstitions, their legends, their folklore here with them. When you have settlers that
It's
came
okay
into
to be Christian says, I know Modesto. So you know that. Nothing good comes out of Modesto. And it's just Mexicans.
This region and had to clear out the forest.
Despite says, are you really so desperate to get drunk? You're considering drinking that? That's pretty gay. Yeah? Yes? Am I shaking yet? I don't have the DTs, the delirium tremens. But like Edgar Allan Poe, I can get him. I can get him good.
In order to create the cities and towns that we have today.
Couch Surfing says, I don't know whoever gifted that. I'm unfriending. Can I guess? Is it Sarah? Did Sarah bring us this? This seems like something Sarah would bring us. Is that a good guess? You guys don't know Sarah.
Is at the edge. That forest and what was out there was always kind of at the edge of civilization.
It's okay to be correct. Rushing says a good weed vape goes a long way. I don't have a weed vape. I do have weed, but I haven't been smoking much weed. I haven't been smoking much weed at all. I smoked a little bit this morning, but like I just haven't. I've been off of it. It's just I don't know. I'm busy, and it just gets in the way most of the time. And it's not that I'm like particularly against it. It's just I don't know. Sometimes you just I used to drink a lot too, and now I don't drink so much. It's just one of those things, you know, you have cycles. I'm sure I'll drink a lot in the future at some point, and I'm sure I'll smoke a lot of weed at some point in the future too. It's just I'm extremely busy. I run a business. Yes, this is technically a business, this show that I'm doing right now. This right here is a business. Can you believe it? Can you? I can't. I have boys to raise, and that's what I'm really concerned about. Like, if I drink this, are they going to be like, well, Daddy says it's okay to drink sweet watermelon wine, and so now that's my beverage of choice? And I'll be like, no, I'm raising Jack Daniels drinkers, but, you know, gin minimum, but hopefully something that puts some hair on your chest. They're babies. They're just babies now. But like when they get older, if I ever catch them drinking sweet watermelon wine, I'd be like, why haven't you told me? Pour me a glass and let's dish. Let's dish. It'd just be catty gay guys.
And it got dark.
Oh, here we go. Background noise with the old bell ringer. He says, ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi. This is not the man show. This is not the man show. No. But do you guys remember from the man show, the guy that could drink a beer in like a quarter of a second? That was pretty impressive.
It was dark.
And there's Doug Stanhope was on that show. I don't know. Should I? It says bad idea right there.
There's always something that goes bump in the night. And I'm sure Kentucky had its share of myths and...
It's okay to be Christian says, this is a business? I know. Couch Surfing says, stop justifying your life choices. I married you.
Tales, just like all civilization's done since the dawn of man.
And I think in many ways the...
Couch Surfing says, oh, I'll go get the ice. It might not be bad over ice. It might... And that apricot wine, honestly, was pretty good. It was pretty good. It's just, it just gave me the hangover of a lifetime. But I also drank like 6 White Claws on top of that, so.
Presence of the forest, the unknown in the forest really has an effect upon Kentucky even still today.
You like this Chinese commercial? Okay, sure, why not? Okay. It's 40. This is 45 minutes, but you did the thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Mommy. Mommy.
Mommy.
Okay, that's pretty funny. That's funny. That's decently funny. And look, a glass of ice just managed to appear in front of me for no help of my wife. And I don't know. I'm like afraid to drink it. Don't take it. Oh, she on the other side. It says I love you. It says I love you. And I wasn't going to read that. I only saw the bad idea. But she was all like, when you inevitably make that bad idea, I still love you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God, that makes me nervous. It really does. But I don't want it in the house. I don't want the kids to find this one day and think I'm gay. So I'm going to have to drink it. I have to. I just literally have to. I'm going to be the new Mersh. Oh, no, never.
According to Ron Coffey,
Okay,
the legend...
Hold on. Okay. Ooh. I smell it. It doesn't smell that bad. It's just it actually doesn't smell that bad. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and got the ice. How's that for ASMR? Right? That's good. That's good ASMR. I'm not desperate to get drunk. But I kind of want to. When was the last time I had a drink? It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a drink. So, you know, I kind of want to.
of Bearzilla has its roots in the many cultures that have passed through Kentucky.
Now they've got legends of all different sorts, but the physical description is the same in every single legend. The Native Americans had legends through this whole area, the Shawnee,
It's not bad. It's yuck, ew. Ew. Ew, that aftertaste is disgusting. Nah, it's not the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Where Iroquois, they all spoke of this same creature. They called it the Lemmican. Go a little farther north, the Native Americans in that region called it a Wendigo.
A Wendigo.
And then you had out west, you had the same creature, but the Navajos called it the Skinwalker. And of course, basically described just like all the modern sightings are. And it was when the French people settled up in.
Despite what you've heard, it says you're a grown ass man. Drink your watermelon spritzer or whatever you want to do. Yeah, a grown man. Of course I'm going to drink it. Of course I'm going to drink it. There's no reason I'm not going to drink it. I'm going to drink it.
The Great Lakes area.
And the thing is, this is our last bottle of alcohol in the house, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I'd be drinking something else. 9%, a bottle of wine. How much can a bottle of wine really do anything to me? Watch, it gets me absolutely lit.
They brought with them the legend of.
It's okay to be Christian says, I never buy it, but I drink it. I don't know who bought this. I'm going to say Sarah. Did Sarah bring this into our house? Was it Natalie? Did Natalie bring this into our house? Either way, I'll punch both those bitches. Pinky's out.
The loup-garou, which is the French werewolf. These combined with the stories of the lammerkin and the wendigo, which then created basically an American loup-garou. Native Americans didn't sit around and make up stuff just to mess with people.
Bullshit. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. The Native Americans didn't make up stuff just to mess with people. Yeah, well, they kind of did, though. Because, like, what else do they got going on? They just sit around a campfire getting hammered. And this is the modern equivalent of that.
They reported what they...
Couch says it was Sarah probably, and stop, please. Stop what? Stop blaming Sarah or stop drinking the entire bottle of wine? Because you know I'm not going to do either of those things.
See, if the Native Americans speak of it, it has to be real. Plain and simple. They don't add on.
It's okay to be Christian. Says your house is going to be dry after this. Is it time to turn your life around? I don't think I have a problem. I don't think I have a problem at all. It's been weeks since I've had a drink. How is this a problem? And it's one bottle of wine. I can have one bottle of wine a night, an hour.
They don't take away. It is what it is. So I think it's...
Cat Survey says, drink away, leave my friend alone, and I know you won't, LMAO. Your friends are fair game for me to rag on and make fun of brutally. I am pretty bad. I am pretty bad. I'm very nice to them. I really am nice to them. And her friends are my friends. But that doesn't... But just like my friends, I will be pretty fucking mean to them. See, I'm a guy friend. Jess is a girlfriend. Girlfriends are nice to girlfriends' faces, right? So, but I'm mean. All right? Because, you know, you call your friend gay and stuff like that, and you razz them. It's different. There's a different dynamic. So that's what I'm doing. I know they're not here, but if Sarah was here, I would call her a lesbo and a dyke and stuff like that. And she's not. Obviously, because I wouldn't let her in the house. But, you know.
Several legends combined with the sightings of...
Couch says she's good and she likes John a lot. I don't dislike Sarah. But that doesn't mean she's going to be spared.
A flesh and blood animal that didn't quite fit into the sequence of known animals, and then the legends have sprung up around that.
But definitely whenever you have the same story repeated over and over and over.
This is awful. This is terrible, dude. This is terrible. This is disgusting.
Over again, it definitely kind of makes...
It really is. Never buy Pacific Fruit Vineyards sweet watermelon grape wine with natural flavors. Never buy that. It's disgusting. It's terrible. And it seems like something a black person would drink. It's terrible. It's awful.
Makes you wonder, what if something like that really exists?
We heard stories of strange events growing up, and it was just something that was part of the local folk.
Background noise says probably need some fried chicken. If I had some fried chicken, you don't think it would be in front of me right now? And then I would just be eating, watching this Bearzilla thing, and like making jokes about Jess's friends.
Folklore, the tradition really of growing up in Kentucky.
And so stories that our grandparents would tell us, around the dinner table, those are just stories that we kind of take to heart. I think mystery is a really...
Jess says watermelon is the worst fake flavor of anything. Candy, gum, drinks, yuck. Have you ever like made watermelon juice like out of an actual watermelon? It's pretty good. But faking watermelon, they have not figured out the science behind that. Which is like, why? It's a watery melon. I don't understand. Yeah, but this is ass. This is just ass. This is pure ass.
Really big part of Kentucky, and I think that's just because there's a lot of rich history that...
Kabuki Tuz says, I like Watermelon Jolly Rancher. Watermelon Jolly Rancher is good. Obedient, Watermelon Arizona is my fave. That is also good. So you're just getting stomped on, Jess. You're getting stomped.
Goes back here. I think a lot of it is just steeped in tradition, really takes stock in folklore here. So,
I don't care how well you pass it on. Things get left out, things get added, and never let the truth stand in the way of a good story. So.
Today, Kentucky is world-renowned for its bourbon. But the production of alcohol had humble beginnings with moonshine.
Hell yeah.
A strong drink that almost certainly loosened tongues and accompanied fireside storytelling.
Bottled moonshine was just it was just spirits. It was corn liquor is what they called it. They would just use corn to distill it down, mix in some sugar, and get that baby going. And when it ran through the worm and out the tube, and out came this clear liquid that you could clean your car with. Of course, after Prohibition came in the 20s, people started putting their stills back in the woods, and they ran moonshine by the light of the moon. So when the moon was shining, they would go out and make their liquor because they could see what they were doing. So it kind of got its connotation from that.
They also called it Mountain Dew, right? Which is where the soft drink got its name, Mountain Dew.
Up the mind and the tongue both. And so I think it probably did play a lot of legends grew out of moonshine, and a lot of reputations, I'm sure, grew out of moonshine.
Yes, some people are intoxicated.
Jess Wegg says Sonic makes a sugar-free cherry limeade powder that and vodka on ice. Oh yeah, you know what I'm a big fan of is alcoholic Gatorade, because it's like it hydrates you, but it dehydrates you at the same time. So you're killing two birds with one stone, or whatever.
Some people are mentally ill.
It does the trick,
But
and
everybody
likes a good Faderade. Everybody likes a good Faderade.
not fall in that category. And enough people have talked about it and seen it and described the exact same creature.
Arden Share
Yes,
says,
they
my
believe it
grandpa
has to
called
be
it
real."
Mountain Lightning. Did your grandpa make good moonshine? Was it good moonshine, or was it just decent? Or was it terrible? Because I'll drink it. Fucking fly. Oh, banger. Don't worry, I have plenty of videos lined up. Rushing Matt says Mountain Dew is another word for tit sweat. I'll drink that too. I'll drink that. Fuck, send me your tit sweat. Send me your tit sweat and I'll do a shot on live. But send a picture though. Send a picture of yourself. Send a picture of yourself first.
During a camping
Or someone else. I don't care.
trip in 1999, Jason Caldwell saw what he believed to be a Bearzilla. But the 5 other campers present that night don't share his...
Jess says, Friday night, though, it's caffeinated Mio pineapple and strawberry water drops and vodka so I don't get sleepy. Haha, B vitamins too, so it's healthy, people. Sure. Okay.
opinion. That's the case
You put B vitamins in there, yeah, it's healthy. Of course that's healthy.
with his best friend.
Healthy. That's healthy. It's health food.
My name's Gary Hobbs. Me and Jason's known each other a long time.
Skeptic.
Well, we decided we were going camping, and next thing I know, shortly after we fell asleep, they come to the truck saying, we need to get out of here. Could just tell Jason was freaked out, like, he saw something.
I seen what I seen, and I was ready to get out of here.
When he came to the truck, you could tell he was really freaked out. He had saw or
They're all
heard something to
sweating.
where he wanted to leave. And that's
in the middle of the woods, sweating their balls off.
So it wasn't normal because he's an outdoors type person. He loved to go camping. He loves to hunt. He loves to fish. So it's not normal for him to want to leave. Just all of a sudden. So it freaked me out. Was my first instinct. I was scared because I could tell that he was freaked out.
Kabuki Tut, she said it's gross, but like gross because of whiskey shots and Gatorade, or me because I'll drink tit sweat. Which one? You have to be specific. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
So I just jumped in the truck. Well, after I started to wake up a little bit and come to my senses, I thought he was full of crap. Even the guys that were in the
Background
tent.
says dude in red doesn't own a single shirt without a white power symbol on it. Does this one have it? You think he's got any tattoos? Any white power tattoos? Maybe, maybe not.
With him, they didn't see it. They heard some
Kabuki says both are gross. I don't agree.
noises, but they didn't see it like he did. So I think they kind of felt like he was crazy. It did cross my mind that he just maybe saw, through the dark something, his mind playing tricks on him, or
If my mind was playing tricks on me, 3 of us wouldn't have heard what we heard, the footsteps that went around us, you know, the crunching of the leaves and the timber. And
oh sure, oh sure, oh sure. No, your mind can play tricks on a lot of people. There was this thing where the dancing plague happened in like the 1500s. I don't know, a long ass time ago, where this entire town just started dancing, and they just danced until a lot of them dropped dead, and it lasted for, I think it was like several weeks, and people couldn't stop dancing. Some sort of dancing plague where they just danced, literally danced. Some people played music, but a lot of people just danced to nothing.
And looking out and seeing what I saw, you know, all three of us.
Group psychosis. Group psychosis is a thing. It is.
I got to hear it, but only one visual.
Yeah, but the wind could have blew something across in front of the tent or something.
Nah, I mean,
I'm just here drinking my watermelon wine.
Walked past us.
There's
I mean,
another animal. Maybe it's something looking for food.
Nothing that big. There is nothing with that kind of stature in these woods. You know, the color of the coat and the height of it, you know. It was definitely just a
It's almost too bad. It's almost too bad to drink. And like, if I was already drunk, then it wouldn't be a problem. But since I'm like stone cold sober, like drinking this is painful, right? If I was like 4 beers deep, then I'd be like, yeah, I could drink this. It wouldn't be an issue. But as a starter, this is rough.
Well, I mean,
this is
stuck
rough.
to his story. I believe he saw or heard something. In my mind, it was just an animal. I'm just one of those persons.
Onia says, I think the dancing plague was because of something, a wheat mold. You're talking about ergot, right? Which is a type of, it's a fungus that grows on rye. And it's also what they use to synthesize LSD from. And so if you eat ergot, you will trip balls. That's a possibility. But it could also be just group psychosis. That's also a real phenomenon.
I guess I can't believe it unless I actually see it.
I'm the type of person that I believe anything until I have a reason not to believe.
Yeah, we've butted heads a lot.
I believe anything until I have a reason not to believe? Okay. All right. I mean, that's a way to live your life, I guess.
Because of that fact. Sometimes I think he's full of crap. I don't know. I still have my doubts.
Ron Coffey has acquired a solid understanding of Bearzilla's way of life, and he's happy to share with those who believe in the existence of the monster.
Jason, you saw something strange up at Barlow Ridge?
Yes.
Okay. Did it look anything like this?
Yeah, from the back, you know, it definitely looked like that.
What is that?
6.5 foot, 7 foot maybe.
Okay. Are you willing to go with me to show me about where you saw this and just try to scout it out? Maybe we can see it again?
Oh, yeah.
Do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's been several sightings back in that area. Hopefully we can find some tracks or something, some good
You ain't gonna find tracks. Let me see this a little closer. It's just a nondescript kind of sketch. At least they put grass and trees and stuff so you know it's in the woods. But they kind of barely put any detail into the actual... It looks like a little kid drew it.
Kind of excited, you know, to see if we might find something, might see something. You just never know what might happen, what you might see.
Well, we don't need anything fancy for this. First thing, we're going to take some plaster of Paris in it. Hopefully we'll be able to find
plaster,
some tracks
okay,
or something of this Bearzilla and pour this out into the track, and we'll have to let it sit. We're going to put this trail cam up where we start because these things have a habit sometimes when you're out looking for them, they're actually following you.
Oh, I really want to like be drunk, but this is so disgusting. This is so gross. I wonder if I just drink it from the bottle. If I just drink it straight from the bottle, maybe it'll be better. No, it's still gross. It's still gross. It's just gross.
So maybe we can catch it as it's following us, because I know a lot of people have looked, and then when they come back, they find its track imposed on their track. So we're going to try to catch it if it follows us. If we find any strange hair, pick it up with tweezers. Put it in glass. Don't touch it with your fingers. The camera, and the video camera, This is the way I've done it for 40 years, you know.
Is Barron Trump going on a jog? Yeah, he's pretty tall. But he gained weight. He got fat, didn't he?
Worked fine for me. And we are ready to roll. We'll follow you, Jason.
As his wife, I worry about him. It
Yeah.
has been linked
Big fat
to
wife.
several fatal attacks throughout the country, and so it's
I doubt
a
that.
baddie, you know.
I'm sorry. How many trail cameras are out there, and not a single one has picked up Bearzilla? Does he know where the bear traps are? Not a single one has picked up Sasquatch or any cryptid. And you think it would just, by a matter of time, right? Wouldn't it just be a matter of time? They have found animals that they thought were extinct for millions of years. No Bearzilla.
I've been accused of having more courage than I had common sense, but I've never really been in fear of anything. But the area we're going to now has had a lot of different encounters, and so maybe we'll get lucky.
Jess says this is scary for me being in the Ozarks. Bearzilla? I'm sure you're going to be okay. Now, the people in the Ozarks I would be afraid of.
He respects this creature for its aggressiveness, and he's always cautious when pursuing it.
This creature I'm going to use caution on. It does have a history of aggression. It's a dangerous creature. People tell me what's the best way to stay safe. And I say don't be stupid. Just don't be stupid. Any animal is going to defend itself, and that's just nature. So basically just...
Like if it's in the wrong team's tent and you ask it politely to move, it'll stab you to death? Is that what you're trying to say? Does this really have to take a racial thing on? I know you're in Kentucky, but like, come on, bro. Too soon.
Use common sense anytime you're out.
He's not really scared of anything. He's good at what he does.
Wow, you're his wife, so I wouldn't be scared either. Wow, that was mean. That was mean, but I'm standing by it.
Really is.
It was in the Dino Green National Forest.
That was mean. I'd go out and I would attack a grizzly bear too, if I had a big fat pig of a wife at home.
That Jason had his Bearzilla encounter. This evening, Jason and Ron will face their fears together on the hunt for this terrifying monster.
Background says if you really wanted to be safe, a 12 gauge and some buckshot would be in order. Yeah, but I doubt he's going out with even a single gun, which would be retarded. I wouldn't go out into the woods without a gun. I just wouldn't. Why would you do that? There is bears out there. Bears are a real thing. Maybe you have mountain lions. Maybe you just have like gangs. You know, sometimes like MS-13 goes out in the middle of the woods and they grow marijuana. You don't want to stumble into that.
This vast forest, protected by the U.S. government, is seldom visited. The perfect hiding place for Bearzilla.
Yeah, slugs would be better.
I've never seen it this thick. Maybe 30 yards is when I seen Bearzilla walking off. Obviously, it's grown up so much now, you can't really see.
Is this that kudzu crap? This is the kudzu shit that like grows everywhere and takes everything over, and they can't get rid of it? And or is that a little further south? Is that anybody from a place where kudzu grows really thick? Do you have to deal with that?
15 years since the encounter, and I guess nobody else has been out here, and there's so many new trees.
This area is known for Bearzilla encounters, and we'll try to go down in that area. There's actually something walking right there. There's definitely something right through this area.
Kabuki says this whole video is just a bunch of grown men playing pretend in the woods. Yeah. I mean, that's what all these are. All these. Even the ghost hunting videos, it's just, oh, you hear that? You hear that? Yeah, the Travel Channel. That's all you for hours. They'll play ghost story after ghost story. Like something bad happened here in the past, and now we have ghost hunters with like technology and shit. And they were like, "Oh, you hear that? You hear that? Everything's in black and or like night vision." No, I didn't hear that.
I don't know what it
So
is.
stupid.
The guys say run.
It's
y'all
retarded. This is a banger. I like the segues.
In Daniel Boone National Forest, Kentucky,
There's actually something walking.
Ron Coffey and Jason Caldwell are searching for the infamous Bearzilla.
The infamous Bearzilla.
Yeah, it's a trail. Yeah. Because something's definitely used this for a trail. So it's broke off branches all the way through here.
You're gonna get
The
ticks.
smallest hint could
That's what I'd be worried about is ticks.
lead them to the monster.
Always look up in a tree. They've been known to climb. But you can see where something's
They don't know how to
actually
climb?
chipped the bark out here. Usually with Bearzilla, you'll have more like a claw mark.
That's what bears do. Or elk. Or like a rutting stag would do that. Because like to like clean the felt off of their horns, which is itchy, apparently. They do that. But bear do that a lot too, to leave like scent marks. So is this a bear gorilla? What kind of animal? Why does it look like a wolf? Why does it look like this? This is our Bearzilla. Why does it look like this? And you call it Bearzilla. You don't call it sex wolf or rape dog. Rape dog sounds like a movie. Whatever. You do you, Kentucky. You do you. Now, far be it for me to question Kentucky with their Mountain Dew and their tit sweat.
Let's try this way. There's another tree, good.
This bite says, I remember in my 20s watching Ghost Adventures on Netflix and hoping they would find something. They never do. Yeah. You know why? Because if they did find something, we would hear about it. If they're all like, we found definitive proof of a ghost. We have it. We captured it. It's in a ghost tube. And you can come and you can see the ghost. And it's, it's a little kid, unfortunately. And, we're not going to let it go. It wants to pass over, but we have it in some sort of magnetic field that keeps it from passing into heaven. It seems pretty unethical, but we have to prove there's ghosts. And here he is. Here he is. He died of tuberculosis. It's not a happy story. It's not a happy story. He wants to reunite with his family in heaven, but we're keeping him here in this magnetic kind of prison for all time, forever. It's our version of a technological hell that we keep this poor innocent child in because we caught him, and he is our first evidence of the afterlife. We're keeping him here. We're going to do tests on him, and they're not going to be comfortable.
Possibility right here.
Nice.
Some claw,
Nice.
claw marks.
Let's torture
This looks more
Casper.
like what we associate with the Bearzilla. Long claw. You can see it's out this way.
It's okay to be Christian says it turns out ghost tubes aren't even real. You know what? You believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I want to believe. All right. I'm a firm believer. The cult is a firm believer in ghost tubes. So I will sell you a ghost tube for $99.99. 15 easy payments of $99.99.
I think there's something a few feet in front of us.
It's expensive.
We've been hearing something right ahead of us here since we started.
Just Mike says you're gonna probe the ghost boy. Damn, I'm not probing the ghost boy. First of all, he's ethereal, right? You don't have to probe any specific hole that he has, right? You can just put stuff inside of his body. There's really no pain to it, but we are going to do tests to see if we can cause pain. That's another thing, right? We don't have to probe his butthole, his little ghost boy butthole. But we'll do other things. We'll shock him. We'll burn him. We'll see if those things actually affect people in the afterlife. They probably won't because you are dead. But this is what science is. This is modern science. So leave the science to the men, Jess.
It's not leaving.
The most wild game would have done ran off, but something is definitely
Leave the
staying.
science to us.
I'd say it's probably not much farther on the other side of that
We
brush.
know how to do it.
Just enough to stay out of sight.
Kabuki says, I saw an episode of Black Mirror just like that. Where they tortured ghosts? Really? Is that really a fucking... Really? Put car batteries on his nips? Yeah, I could do that. Pessy thinks I want to torture him. I don't want to torture Pessy. Right? He's always all like, stop trying to hook my nipples up to car batteries or put me in a shark tank full of... look, Pessy, I'm not trying to hurt you. You're trying to hurt you. All right? You just... You take it the wrong way. You take every idea I have the wrong way. I'm sorry that you live in fear of me, but that's how I like it. That's how I like it.
According to biologist John Cox, Ron and Jason's search in the woods may be futile.
Onia says, wasn't that basically the movie 13 Ghosts? I like that movie. That was a good movie. Yeah, it was. Yeah, actually it was.
So I'm an assistant professor of wildlife ecology and conservation biology at the University of Kentucky. Kentucky's been...
University of Kentucky? The University of Kentucky. What do they study? Shine? Moonshine? Watch, it's actually like a legit university.
Explored by Europeans since the mid-1700s. When the explorers came in, there were bears everywhere. They slaughtered bears pretty prolifically, but within a few decades, those species were wiped out of this area. At the turn of the century, when humans in the U.S. recognized that, look, we're wiping out a number of species, we decided to pass game laws and try to protect what biodiversity, what game species that we had left. Then we had sort of a slow repopulation growth of these bears from these very remote, what we might call refugia up in the highlands of Appalachia. Really, it wasn't until the 70s where they started trickling in any great numbers.
Jess Wegg says, oxymoron, right? Kind of like the University of Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, like, the Arkansasans are actually very learned, and they know exactly how to... I don't know, what is going on in Arkansas? What do they got in Arkansas? They got nothing in Arkansas. There's nothing going on in Arkansas. So they might as well learn.
And it's estimated we probably have somewhere between 3 and...
Rushing Matt says Kid Rock lives in the replica of the White House. That's real. What? Why? Why? You have like an Oval Office and everything? Why would you do that?
500
What a
bears in the
retard.
state.
Kid Rock is
My
retarded.
best guess for what people have seen in the woods would be that it could be a young black bear.
You went to the University of Arkansas? How was it? Was it good? And we have Walmart and Tyson HQ there. Tyson like the chicken, huh?
It's very common
Okay, that works.
that
That's
if
cool.
you do see a bear, it's foraging around trees or something, that it could easily reach up to pull a beehive out of a tree. And when a bear raises up on 2 hind legs, you know, it looks very humanoid. Its hands are sort of long.
No, it looks like a bear.
But a lot of times people don't get that second glance, or they're not experienced enough to look where the details are.
It's a
And
fun party
sometimes,
school, huh?
You know, your eyes play tricks on you.
The first modern testimony of Bearzilla's existence coincides exactly with the return of black bears to Kentucky.
I know the Bearzilla's here. You know, it's just a matter.
I want to go to a university and go to a frat or something and see if they'll let me party with them. Like the movie Old School. Is that the movie? I want to see, because I am a middle-aged man. And I want to knock on their door and I'd be like, hello, young fellows. I didn't get to have the college experience because I had very bad grades. I would like to party with you if that would be acceptable. I have drugs. And they'd be like, sure, elderly gentlemen, because they think I'm elderly. But no, not quite. And then we'd party. And I'd do cake stands, and I would have a rowdy good time. I would use lingo that they don't understand. And they would do the same. I've fantasized this plenty of times.
Matter of finding the proof.
Plenty of times.
But Ron and Jason are convinced that the monster
What do
they
you have
saw
for me,
is
Rashid
no
Man?
mere
know
bear.
that Kid Rock's mansion?
It could be on the
Okay,
other
all
side
right.
of the bush.
I know you guys heard that. Kid Rock's mansion. All right.
In White's Creek sparked controversy when he built a replica of the White House. Some locals were shocked by the audacity and scale of this project. Today, we'll explore this incredible estate and its unique features. Nestled in White's Creek, this mansion is worth approximately $3.1 million.
Not that expensive.
The property spans 68 acres, and the house
Whoa, you have 68 acres? That's pretty cool. That's pretty badass.
itself is an astounding 27,000 square feet.
Whoa, that's a big ass house. 27,000 square feet. That's a big ass house.
Inside, you'll find a luxurious wine cellar stocked with world-class wines and even a golden toilet and shower. The mansion also boasts a movie theater, bowling alley, and a gym. So why did Kid Rock choose to build such an extravagant replica? Is it a reflection of his artistic vision or simply a bold statement? For a full tour and more insights, visit our channel.
No, I won't, but that's silly. That's silly to do. Is he President Kid Rock? No, no one's voting for Kid Rock.
Right now, we couldn't.
Why does he have so much money? Was his music good?
See it.
I don't remember that.
It's just the vegetation is so thick, and so much of Kentucky is like what we're
Jess says, John, I have some great frat party stories, and they would let you party. Just duct tape a pass out nerd to a wall, and you're in. Where am I gonna get a nerd? Dan Snot, are you still here? Dan Snot, I have a job for you. Did he leave? He probably left. He was like, you know what? I don't have to take this, and he left. He'll be back. He'll be back. He has no self-respect. I've taken that from him. For my own goals.
Easy for a gorilla to hide in this type of wilderness.
I can find another nerd. Frozen will do it. And Frozen is small. He's like half my height. He is very small. I could easily pack him into some sort of suitcase and be like, I have this cooking Asian, and I will trade you. I'll gift you this Asian. And then I'll just like let him out, and he'll be butt ass naked and like all sweaty, and he's like, I almost suffocated in there, John. I was like, shut up. Shut up, Frozen. Shut up. You belong to them now. Be like, okay.
If you notice, there's a lot of
you belong to them now,
broken
Frozen.
off right here. So something has actually cleared a trail through here. This has been a larger creature.
Kabiki Tut says Dan is going to beat you up next year in New Orleans. Unless he goes through that Captain America training or whatever that green guy from Street Fighter did where they made him a monster. I doubt that. I highly doubt that. I am a lot bigger than Dan Stott. I am much larger than Dan Stott. And younger. He's like 45 years old.
That might be a useful track. But it's not very well defined. I'm going to try to cast it. Like, so this track isn't very deep at all. I've got doubts if it's going to make anything.
They're doing plaster. Oh, he's bleeding. That's good. You're doing plaster of what? Did you find a Bearzilla, or is it just a bear print? That's just a bear print.
But we'll try.
Jess Wag says they would make Frozen their house mascot, which would be great because another frat would like come and kidnap him, right? Like from an opposing frat, and they would kidnap him, and then they'd make him their little Chinese slave, and that would be the tradition, just kidnapping Frozen over and over. Once a year, he would wake up to a bunch of college kids in his room, and they would be stuffing him into a sack, shanghaiing him, if you will, and just dragging him across campus where he cooks for another frat for a year. He should do that, honestly, because this day wave thing, there's no dignity in it. There's just no dignity in it.
Probably gone,
Not for him.
Probably gone a half a mile or better back into the woods. Something is staying just a few feet out of our sight, always in front of us. Whatever this is watching us. It's out there.
Dead end. The plaster cast reveals nothing.
Dan's not. I saw him for maybe an hour in Las Vegas, and then I imagine he went off hunting for prostitutes because he had stories about like a Mersh girl. So he was probably looking for prostitutes. Did he get a prostitute? I don't know. But he was probably looking for them.
Are we ready to head back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessweg says, we built a catapult one night and launched these huge catfish into a windshield on the main road. That's a felony. Funny, but that's a felony. But funny. That was funny. That's funny.
I don't think we can go any deeper anyway.
But their belief in the monster is such that they intend to continue their research and prove Bearilla's existence once and for all.
I'd say all senses are very
Are you getting
enhanced.
paid for
Vision,
this?
it's,
Are you getting paid for this documentary? Are you getting paid? You're not getting paid. How do you make a living as a cryptozoologist? I'm just asking. Do you get a grant from anywhere? Who pays for your existence?
Hearing, sense of smell to be able to survive as long as it has without being detected. The whole time we were there was something moving. As we moved, it moved.
I am convinced it was there, you know. Just like we seen down there, 3 foot from you, you couldn't see anything, you know. We kept hearing something down there, and everything else would have ran off.
Dan Stott says, Kabuki Todd, I'm teaming up with Frozen. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So while we were looking for it, it was watching us. I know he was out there.
Honestly, that might be a better call because I'll take out both of you pretty easily. But maybe Frozen has some sort of karate. And maybe you have a gun. If you have a gun, you win. So, don't bring a gun. That's how it works.
Even
I'm just
though
drinking
he didn't
my
see Bearilla on his
sweet
quest through the
watermelon
forest
wine,
with Ron.
and I'm actually starting to feel a little bit warm and fuzzy, so it's going down a little easier. A little bit easier. It's not as disgusting as when I started, but pinky's out. It's not as disgusting as was when I started, but it is still pretty bad.
Jason Caldwell remains adamant. It was definitely the monster that he came across that fateful night in 1999.
We kept hearing something in front of us. It never got that far away. It wasn't a deer. We don't know what it was. You know, if it was down there beside us, you would never see it. Yeah, I mean, something was with us, you know.
But I just don't believe it was something other than an animal, you know. I think it's crazy.
It was an animal. That's what you're saying. It was an animal. It was just an unknown animal that walks around on two legs and has a huge dick. A huge dicked animal.
I'll make him a believer one day.
Sometimes I think he's full of crap.
The new pink Red Bull with vodka would be fire. I haven't tried the Red Bull. Because the ice watered it down? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but also... It'll give me a nice buzz. This is not going to get me drunk, but it'll give me a little buzzed.
John Cox would like to believe, but...
As far as I know, we have no physical evidence in terms of carcasses, in terms of reliable tracks of any kind of cryptid species in Kentucky.
But Ron Coffey believes he has the ultimate proof, strong enough to sway...
Jessweg says there was this hoe getting banged on the bathroom floor and her hair was coming out. You deaf the door. So I got a lighter and some hairspray. I was bad. So wait, some whore was getting banged on a bathroom floor, and the hair was coming out from underneath the door, and then you lit her hair on fire? Is that what? That's pretty bad That's pretty bad. Again, that's pretty funny, though. That's pretty funny. It's very bad. I mean, like, that seems like it would be assault. But hoes get what they deserve.
Even science-minded skeptics.
I found several tracks in the mud, but this is about the only one I could really get a good casting of. It's just unique because very few tracks have ever been found of these creatures.
But tracks can be very deceptive because the way they look depends on the substrate that you find them in. If you find them in mud, then it's likely that that animal is going to hit that mud and it's going to slide, just like a person would when they step with a boot. And that track's going to be distorted.
As you can see, it's got a human-like heel. It has like canine pads on the bottom of its foot. You can also see what appears to be a line of...
I don't see anything.
Claw.
I don't see anything. I just see... I see a plaster. I see plaster, and that's it. I don't see a footprint of any sort.
Perhaps. That's why I think it's possibly the Bearzilla. It just matches the description of the foot.
It's very easy to be fooled as to what kind of traction you're looking for. And it takes literally decades to become an expert tracker because of those different factors that may contribute to altering what a track looks like. But, you know, in science, the absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence. You can never say something is not there because, you know, we don't have evidence for it.
Well, there's all different theories. Some theory is it's just an undiscovered canine. Kangaroo was once a cryptid. Platypus was.
Just says, yeah, at the frat house of my boyfriend. Yep. And you set some bitch's hair on fire who was getting nailed. Good times. Good times.
Once a cryptid. We know now what they are, but they were a legend at one point. And I'm sure.
You think she got pregnant? You think she got pregnant and she conceived on the bathroom floor of a frat house as her hair was getting set on fire? And then some guy is walking around, you know, some kid. He's probably pretty young. He's walking around and doesn't even know how much of a whore his mom was.
Sure that the Bearzilla one day will be known.
Probably.
But right now we don't know what they are.
Particularly small creatures have not been identified. But at this point, we're largely talking about things like plants, insects, but we've pretty much known about all the mammals, the big mammals, for at least about 100 years. There are archaeological sites where we find bones of animals that were here long before Europeans came in. We're just not seeing any evidence that there's any kind of cryptid species that we know about.
Another theory that's actually, this creature may be a creature that we once thought was extinct that is now actually not extinct. It's known as the Empicylon or bear dog. Now, scientists have always agreed that it was here at least 100,000 years ago, but scientists have always disagreed as to when it became extinct.
The early ancestor of the dog and the bear family would be something that sort of looks like a blend between these two creatures. It would be much more rounded,
man-bear
maybe
pig?
not have so much of a long rostrum or snout, and be a little bit bigger bodied. So it kind of looks like a hybrid between those two species.
The legs are short and stout, and the hips are...
Rushing says, is it gay if I plaster cast my wiener and then stick it in my butt? No, that's not gay. I mean, because it's you, right? So it's a form of masturbation, which is kind of gay, but like not as gay as if it was like a plaster cast of my wiener being shoved into your butt. That would be gay. So don't do that. Yeah, no one's getting a plaster cast of my wiener. Anyway, I keep it in a safe, and I make sure I check on it on a daily basis just to make sure nobody's stolen it, right? Nobody did any Ocean's 11 and snuck into my house and stole the plaster cast of my wiener.
Wide, so we know it could have walked on two legs easily.
Thank God.
And its front legs are much longer than the back, so when it stood up, it would have had arms. The feet and the hands look very human-like.
Just like says, Mommy, where was I made? Well, on the bathroom a frat room bathroom. A frat house bathroom. My hair was on fire, and I got cummed in. And that cum was you.
The accounts also explain that this
See, that's a tough explanation. That's tough, right?
animal walks upright,
You should just be like, it's immaculate conception.
which doesn't really mesh with the way these animals move through the landscape, particularly the way wolves hunt. They're cursorial hunters, so they're runners. And so four-leg locomotion is much more efficient when it comes to catching prey, particularly if you're a carnivore, than it is to be trying to run around on two legs and catch something. You know, people imagine bears walking around in these circus settings where they're walking and doing this kind of thing, but that's very unnatural for a bear to be able to do that for more than a few steps. If it really doesn't make sense for either a bear or a wolf to be able to walk around on two legs.
The interesting thing is the areas
Maybe
that
it
are
does,
still
though. You don't know.
experiencing these sightings, we find remains of this bear dog. So that's why I think they're related.
Millions of years ago, bears and dogs have a common ancestor.
Jeff Swag says, what if the plaster breaks and then you end up in the ER with plaster up your ass? And on those stories of the ER, with a plaster cast of my wiener in rushing Matt's ass, yeah, they're gonna be like, I know this wiener.
But those two
I've seen
branches,
this wiener.
the canids, the dog family, and the bears, the ursids, have branched off long ago. For hybridization to occur would be practically impossible. Wolves have 78 chromosomes, black bears have 74. So genetically, they don't match up enough in a way that you're going to be able to hybridize those two species and produce some kind of, hybrid creature of a Bearzilla.
We find these remains, and that's exactly the same place.
I don't know. We have science now that we can probably figure. We brought back dire wolves, right? Which I don't know why you bring back dire wolves. Why don't you bring back something cool? I mean, dire wolves are cool, for sure. But why don't you bring back like a T-Rex or Abraham Lincoln? I don't know. Something else. Well, I know they will be bringing back all types of stuff. Because we live in weird times. We live in weird times where they're like, let's just bring species back from the dead. Right? Because it'll be fun and we can see what that's like. Okay, yeah, let's bring back a 15-foot wolf. Like a giant-ass wolf. And it's not going to be able to, we're not going to be able to train it, or it'll eat people. It'll eat babies, for sure.
This Bearzilla-type creature is also spotted. So I don't think it's a coincidence myself. I think that's what it is, a bear dog.
Obedient to us says they made wolves with some dire wolf DNA. Not the same thing. Well, you're being nitpicky. That's too nitpicky. Don't be so nitpicky. Right? Because then I'll never be like, oh, they brought back dire wolves. Come on, man. Come on. Help me out. Even in Jurassic Park, they brought back dinosaurs with frog DNA. But they seemed pretty T-Rex and Velociraptor-y. They didn't seem like frogs. It'd be funnier if they were like more frog-like, but no. That's not how it worked. Wish they were more frog-like. I don't get any frog-like stuff.
If the Bearzilla belongs more to storytelling than reality, how can we explain the gruesome deaths of cattle in the region over the years?
Aliens?
More recently, in Wadi, they had a rash of mysterious livestock killings. They were not eaten, they were just slaughtered.
Jeff says, what if we don't know that some sort of chick could mate with a bear and had a half-man, half-bear baby? It could happen. Well, we could try. We need to find a volunteer, which probably won't be all that hard.
So that's really where the strangeness comes into the situation, because you figure if it was like a wolf or something, they would be hunting for prey and more to like...
Excuse me, madam, would you like to have sex with a bear? Or a man in the woods? And she'd be like, bear me up. And then we would send a bear after her and see if it... she'd be into it.
But it was just more like for fun. So that was really the strange part of the whole situation.
There's a number of carnivores in the world that do what we call surplus killing, but here in the U.S., particularly with regards to domestic livestock, when you see something like that, that is typically dogs. Stray dogs are notorious for killing things and leaving them. So if we're talking about attacking cattle, wolves, and a lot of times with stray dogs, the first thing that they'll grab is the face. And they'll pull that face and they'll rip the face apart, because something like a cow, they're really trying to find some kind of appendage to bite. Wolves don't really, other than the legs, they really don't have anything to kind of grab onto.
They sent off DNA testing out of one of the animals that have been badly maimed, and it came back as a result of canine, but some of the people still really weren't satisfied with that.
The biggest animal we have in this area that could have done something like that we know of would be a bear, and the black bear we have here are not that big. And of course, a coyote or wolf could not have done it, period.
Why not? Wolves can get pretty big, and wolves can hunt in packs, and they're intelligent, and they can coordinate and stuff like that. A wolf could easily do that. A pack of wolves could easily do that. Why do you just assume that wolves can't do that? Because you're retarded?
Nor could feral dogs have done it. That's what
Jess Wegg says explains her hips, John. No, she's fat. I mean, she does have some hips, but she is mostly fat.
Really mysterious about it.
Still, to this day, it really hasn't been confirmed, but most people think it must have been a dog, but there's no confirmation as far as that goes.
Monster or myth? The legend of Bearzilla lives on in a state where people are crazy about all things paranormal.
Mount Sterling is one of the most haunted towns in Kentucky and possibly eastern United States. Just because of all the past, we had several Civil War skirmishes here as well as Revolutionary War skirmishes. The town itself used to be full of shoot-'em-up saloons and brothels and a lot of murders. That was a lot of energy that was left behind.
Some people have had experiences in the downtown area, especially the most historical part of town. People have reported seeing like apparitions, possible ghosts in windows, cold spots that they can feel whenever you walk into a certain area where something has happened in the past.
We even had a marshal.
This bite says it couldn't have been wolves or coyotes because that's not cool or interesting. I think that's pretty cool and interesting. Does she not agree?
Who was gunned down at the town square. As you cross Main Street, people feel a cold spot in the middle of the road right where he was gunned down.
Well, that we've got a tourist business around here for cryptids and Bigfoot, Bearzilla.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
There have been people who have come into the Daniel Boone National Forest for the very purpose of hunting for those cryptid creatures.
The reason being is it's the diverse topography here. You go into the east, you've got mountains. Go through the central part in the bluegrass, you've got rolling hills and grassland. You go into the west, you've got swamp. There's more running water in Kentucky than in any state except Alaska. There's plenty.
There's a lot of running water in Florida. Florida is like mostly water, dude.
Food. It's no problem to walk into the barnyard and swoop up a pig or something if you wanted to, you know. So it's a good food supply as well.
Rocky says, fuck yeah, cold spots. Cold spots, right? It just happened to be cold in the middle of the street.
More open territory than it is urban, so there's plenty of room for it to roam in. Shelter, food, and water, so that in itself would make a great habitat for any number of creatures.
But as to the actual existence of Bearzilla,
Dan Stott says, I think he means rivers. That's fine. You can mean rivers, but it's not like Florida doesn't have tons of rivers.
opinions are divided.
It's hard for me to believe in the Bearzilla in this area. I'd have to see some sort of definitive proof. Of course, the best evidence for any of these cryptids would be actually managing to recover one.
I'd like to say yes, that I would probably believe in the Bearzilla. I'd like to think that there is probably things in the forest that we don't know about.
Unfortunately, I don't see enough evidence to suggest that Bearzilla exists.
I would have to see physical evidence, to make me actually believe in it.
You don't want to.
And sadly, some people can never be
non-believer
persuaded.
Bullshit, man.
If you rode one on with a saddle on it, they wouldn't believe it. That's just the way it is. Some people just don't believe stuff. But
there is one school of thought that all the cryptids, such as the Bearzilla or Bigfoot, could actually be ghosts of animals that once walked the earth. So, you know, there's a possibility that it could be a ghost of a bear dog.
You know,
Yeah, ghost of a bear dog. I didn't know animals had ghosts, but yeah, a ghost of a bear dog, that makes a lot of sense, I suppose. That
God
works.
bless America. We're entitled to believe anything we want to.
I mean, I tell people the story all the time, and they tell me, you know, I'm crazy.
We all know, based on court testimonies, that our memories are not that good.
No, sir. Look, I'm telling you, the Mandela effect is a psyop, so we don't trust our memories. You fell into that psyop, you're a fool. You're a fool.
I know what I saw. I pack cameras now.
It's not a transitioning barilla. It's not a barilla. Barillo. It's not a Barillo that decided, look, I'm going to go and be a Barilla and then go into the Barilla bathroom so I can, like, listen to Barilla's poop.
I want to have proof, you know.
No,
so
that's not how it
I
works.
can convince people.
I'd be always receptive to see
I know.
physical
Why not?
evidence,
No dinosaur
but
ghosts.
right now,
You know how many fucking ghosts would be around if animals had ghosts? You know how many fucking ghosts would be? Everywhere would be ghosts. There'd be ghosts everywhere. And it would be a real issue. It would be a problem.
you know, to me at least, it only exists in myth and lore.
I definitely think the idea of the Bearzilla existing is a cool idea. Something out there that exists that we don't know much about. It's just the mystery in it is really what draws me in, I think.
If such a creature does exist, maybe it's better just to leave them alone and let them sort of go about their own way and live out their own existence.
For Ron Coffey, the explanation is simple.
I really don't believe there is such thing as a monster. I think that all monster legends are based on flesh and blood animals. Animals that we just haven't been able to identify and put a name on yet.
Well, that is the Bearzilla story. That's the Bearzilla story, everybody. Now, for the rest of the thing, I'm going to do harp. We're going to do harp. And I'm going to do a little bit of premium. Now, in 5
To
minutes,
by War
we'll
Thunder.
start it off like this.
A blinding flash lit the Siberian sky.
We'll start it off like this. I'm going to do a little harp. I don't know how much premium I'm going to do, but if I don't do enough, I'll pop on tomorrow and I'll do a day stream. I'll do a Saturday stream.
The explosion was 100 times more powerful than Hiroshima. It flattened 80 million trees across 830 square miles.
Oh,
No crater.
Dan Snot says Florida has 72 rivers. The top river states have over 1,000. Okay.
Appeared. No meteor fragments were found.
Despite what you've heard, says we have like 30,000 lakes, though. Yeah. There's a lot of water, dude.
Scientists struggled for decades to explain what happened at
Obedience says I found out my dad loves this dude. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Tunguska. Thousands of miles away, Nikola Tesla smiled in his Wardenclyffe Tower lab. His Tesla ray had worked perfectly. When Tesla died in 1943, government agents seized his research. Decades later, HARP appeared in Alaska, 180 antennas beaming energy into the ionosphere.
Okay.
The military calls it research, but declassified documents tell
There's
a different
a lot
story.
of lakes.
What would have been
in
Tesla's
Florida.
greatest gift to the world became the world's most powerful weapon. Oh no!
AJ is a
not
great
now,
storyteller.
Please, not
A
now.
raconteur. All right, I'm gonna skip that.
2,500 vehicles.
Hey, me, I'm just
Skip
reading
that.
what they're saying about you on Reddit.
Reddit sucks because they kicked me off. They kicked me off, and like I just didn't go back. I had like an account, and it had like a decent amount of karma, and they kicked me off because I kept violating the rules, and they kept banning me. And then they finally they destroyed my account, and I was like, fine, I'll just go over to Twitter and spread my hate speech there. And I did. I said trans. I said tranny. I said tranny. I said the word tranny. And they're all like, that's hate speech. Okay. SB Views says, I love Y-Files and HF? High Files? I don't know what that is. I've seen every episode multiple times. SB, you should comment more.
In 1901, Nikola Tesla built Wardenclyffe. The 190-foot tower on Long Island wasn't for radio signals. It was for wireless energy transmission across the planet. And this wasn't theoretical. Tesla demonstrated wireless power at the 1893 World's Fair. He lit phosphorescent tubes without wires. The crowd was amazed. Tesla believed Earth could conduct electricity like a circuit.
Sure.
The secret was the ionosphere, an electrically charged atmospheric layer starting 50 miles up. By pumping electromagnetic energy into this layer, he could create a planet-wide resonance system.
Planet.
Rocky says, I like this guy. He seems nice. I've caught him live a couple of times. You're talking about me. Thank you, Rocky.
Wide resonance system? Oy vey. Hello, tech support? Yeah, my human is speaking nerd again. I need a translation.
Well, think of it like pushing a child.
Rocky McCobb says, neat how the Tesla Corporation has no interest in this. Okay, here's the thing. When Tesla died, he died alone in a New York apartment, right? And he was old and he was forgotten. And when he died, the FBI kicked down his door and confiscated everything. And basically nothing has seen the light of day since then. It's all been under wraps. It's all been in some giant warehouse. So Tesla really has nothing to go on. They can't like find patents or anything. They have nothing to go on.
On a swing.
Guppy.
Think of it like pushing a guppy on a swing.
Hecklefish.
Small
Okay.
pushes timed right create large
Yeah,
sustained
Hecklefish
motion.
is great.
Tesla wanted to push the ionosphere at a frequency matching the Earth's resonance. This would create stable waves circling the planet. Earth resonates at 7.83 hertz, and this was proven in 1954. Tesla suspected this, but wasn't certain. He needed financing to continue.
I will enjoy my brain chips.
JP Morgan
Are they
initially
like
funded
snacks?
the project, but withdrew when he realized Tesla wanted to provide free electricity worldwide. Morgan asked, if anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter? Without Morgan's support, Tesla was ruined.
This is true. And that works. You can still do that. Like that technology where you can transmit, that works. That's a real technology. However, they're all like, well, if you do that, it'll fry everyone's phone. So I kind of get that too. Like the circuits in people's phone, they're too close together. If you put a bunch of energy in the air like that, it's going to short out basically all computers, which they didn't have back then. So that would be an issue. Now, could you shield them? Yeah, that would be pretty easy. That'd be super easy. But they choose not to.
In the 1930s, Tesla announced Teleforce. The press called it a death ray. Tesla said it can generate an invisible wall of energy capable of destroying aircraft and armies from hundreds of miles away.
Look, I know there's 50 people here, and I have to do my premium because if I want to continue being, if I want to be in the creator program, which I do, I have to do premium. But there is 50 people here. But I'm not going to do that. I'll just do a premium show tomorrow. How about that? And then we'll just roll on, and then it'll be free until I decide we stop. How about that? All right? Okay, roll it.
Roll it. We have a whole episode on Tesla's death
I
ray.
hate that. I hate kicking out half the people just because I have to fucking get my numbers up. I don't care.
And Wardenclyffe Tower if you want to learn more.
It's linked down in your love luggage.
Your love luggage? Okay. All right. That's my nutsack. That's what he means. Down in my nutsack.
When Tesla died in 1943, the U.S. government responded fast. His body was still warm as his entire legacy was packed into government crates. Tesla's dream died with him, but his research lived on, in the hands of men who saw not free energy, but unlimited power.
Yep. Despite what you've heard, says, okay, now you bitches need to leave a like. It would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice.
Tesla's technical documents.
SPVU says, I'm premium. I'm good either way. I know, but some people aren't. And I do feel bad.
Were sent to an MIT professor for review. That professor was Dr. John Trump, the future president's uncle.
Get the fuck out of here. What? Get the fuck out of here. Really?
Dr. Trump, also a National Defense Research Committee member, said Tesla...
He kind of looks like him. He kind of looks like... Wow.
Research contained nothing valuable. That wasn't true.
Oh, look, make America lie again.
The Trumps have been rich for a long time, right? Donald Trump is not a self-made man, whatever that means. But no, his dad was rich. They obviously come from a rich family. Anybody related to King John of England, which is literally every American president except for Martin Van Buren. Coincidence? No, absolutely not. That's not a coincidence.
Military quiet
is going to be pretty rich. Every president, including Obama,
continued Tesla's work. Some research went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base under Project Nick. This was a top-secret operation launched in 1945 to study...
Yes, including Obama. Yes, Dan Snott. Even Obama was a descendant of King John of England. Every single one, except for Martin Van Buren, and he was a descendant of Dutch royalty. But, you know. Yeah. Every single one. How many descendants does King John have? Maybe a few thousand. Maybe 10,000 at best. That would be a lot. But there's 350 million people in the United States. It kind of seems like it's not a coincidence.
Tesla's particle beam weapon. Project Nick's details remain classified.
Dan Snott says, I piss black people off when I say Obama was the first mulatto president. Why are you talking to black people? You're going to piss them off. And you're a white guy, Dan Snott. You're going to piss them off doing anything. Like, literally, you're going to piss them off doing anything. They're not happy. They're not happy people. Why do you think they constantly lose their shit in, like, Wendy's and Walmart and stuff like that? So you think because they're, like, super... A lot of them are pretty angry. I met some cool ones. I'm not going to lie. I met some cool ones. But most of them are pretty pissed off.
The project was officially abandoned, but particle beam research continued.
Rocky says, Vatican library shit. Dude, I would love to get in that library. Ooh, I would love to. I would love to poke around and, like, look into shit and see what they got. Oh, I would love to. I bet they got some awesome shit down there.
Project Seesaw in 1958. Like Project Nick, Seesaw was heavily funded for years, and like Project Nick...
Jess says, I don't know why it pissed people off. Obama was definitely not full black. You heard the way he talked, and he was a fag. Dude, I just said, black people are naturally pissed off. They're just not very happy people. There's something about their brain that makes them angry. Is it being in America that makes you mad? Okay, fine, leave. Go back to Africa. Oh, they don't like it when you say that. They don't like that at all. No. There's no making them happy, right? You give them free money. You give them, like, college tuitions. You give them, like, sweetheart jobs where they literally have to do nothing and they get great pay. They're still fucking mad. What do you want to do? Like, seriously, what are you going to do? Right? There's a bunch of black billionaires. They're not doing anything to help you guys. It's just fucking us. It's us trying to help you and trying to make you not so goddamn angry all the time. And you just go around stabbing white people. At what point are we going to be like, okay, it's been enough. It's several hundred years. All right. This obviously isn't working out. You guys aren't changing. In fact, you're getting worse. So we're just going to go ahead and, I don't know, not eradicate you, but we're going to send you back. They're not going to like that either. There's nothing that's going to make them happy.
Seesaw was quietly shut down.
There's
During
nothing
this
that's
time,
going to make them
Tesla's
happy.
particle beam technology disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to it. Then years later, DARPA and the U.S. Air Force built an expensive secret facility in Alaska. The technology there would look familiar to Tesla historians. The military claims the facility is only for research.
Jessweg says black fatigue is spreading rapidly. I know I've been infected with it.
But that's not what the patents say.
I know, I'm pretty fucking tired of it. I'm pretty fucking tired of it. And I don't care. I honestly don't give a shit, dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm like sick of like, I'm just sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. Yeah, there are cool ones, but they're rare. They really are rare. And it's just like, why do you guys have to fucking live with us? You're not happy. We're not happy. Why do you insist on being... Just go do your own thing. Start your own black community. But every time they do that, it falls apart. Monrovia, Liberia. Look into it. Look what that place is. It's where all the ex-slaves went. And it's hell on earth.
In 1987, physicist Bernard Eastland filed a patent titled...
SBView says can't help those that won't help themselves. I guess. I mean, like, that's true. I mean, you can't just keep giving generation after generation free welfare, free money, free housing, free everything, and then they still insist on stealing things. You get everything for free, and then you still rob people. You still murder people, dude. Why? Because it's fun for you? Is that what it is? Is it fun for you? You're getting everything for free. You have no need to steal. All you have to do is literally file a form, and they'll give everything you need for free. You put an application in for Harvard, and boom, you're in on a scholarship, right? After that, you get any job you want because you got the black card. What the fuck, man? We can't, there's no saving it. And it's been centuries at this point. At what point are we just going to be like, you know what? Nah. No more. No. Everyone back. Even the mulattoes. Everyone get on the fucking boat. You're going back.
Method and apparatus for altering a region
Even the
in the
fucking
Earth's
mulattoes.
atmosphere, ionosphere, and or magnetosphere. The patent described a facility that could heat specific ionosphere portions using radio waves.
Just Weg says no dads is the number one issue. That's complicated because the U.S. government says that the women can't get welfare if there's a dad in the house, and so that kind of makes it so there's no dad in the house and shit like that. Yeah. But, yeah, still, though. I mean, the government is also the problem. We should get rid of the government. The government is also the problem.
Eastland wasn't working alone. Arco Technologies funded his research.
Arco
owned vast natural gas reserves in Alaska.
They also owned Arco Arena in Sacramento, where the Kings played.
Alaska's North Slope, but had no buyers.
Or they put their name on it. You know how it is.
They saw Eastland's invention as a way to...
It's okay to be Christian says, I like drinking, John. I'm not going to lie. Oh, why? Why? Because I'm not racist enough when I'm sober? Is that the problem?
convert their gas into something valuable.
The real John comes out, and he's quite the bigot. Now we know who the real John is. He's a sexist, misogynist bigot. Just like sober John. It's the same guy. I'm just a little bit cozier now.
And Eastland's technology needed lots of power.
Arco originally approached me in 1984 to...
Just Weg says, yeah, but why are they targeting the black family? That's weird. They used to be all Leave It to Beaver, too. Testing. They're trying out certain social programs on black people because they want to see if it works, and then they move it on to white people, which is their real target. The real target is the white people, but they run tests on black people because they're not really going to do anything. They're not going to organize or anything like that. And it's just easier. The government is the problem. The government is why there's too many black people. The government is why all these black people are being forced into white neighborhoods. The government is the problem. As always.
Find a use for the natural gas on the North Slope of Alaska, which they could not sell. To give you a feel for how much gas they asked me to find an application for, it was enough gas to produce all the electricity in the United States for a full year.
The technology is straightforward. A powerful radio signal is transmitted into the ionosphere targeting a specific region.
It's okay to be Christian, says white people make bad slaves. Yeah, well, not really. They actually make pretty good slaves. And we kind of all are slaves at this point. When you work for fake money, you're a slave.
This energy...
when you work for money that does not exist and you can't exchange it for like gold or anything with any true intrinsic value, even the houses you buy, you have to pay rent in, which is property taxes, then you're a fucking slave. You're still a slave. You're still a slave.
Excites charged particles, heating them and altering their properties. The heated region acts like an optical lens, but instead of bending light, it bends and redirects radio waves. This includes radar signals and natural currents in Earth's upper atmosphere. This is like inserting a resistor into a global electrical circuit. The lens could create effects thousands of miles away from the transmission site.
Okay. Do you guys believe in this, Harp? Because I kind of do. I think they can control hurricanes. I think they can make earthquakes happen. I know they have like some sort of laser-based system, maybe not space lasers, but on like 747s, they have laser systems and they can start fires really easily. So yeah, I believe that.
Within a year of Eastland's patent filing, ARCO was awarded a contract to build a similar facility in Alaska. When locals read about it in the March 1988 Omni magazine, they grew concerned. The military insisted they were building a research facility, nothing more.
Do not believe the government.
They didn't.
Do not believe the government. I do like Hecklefish. Hecklefish he's base as fuck, man. And so is AJ, but he tries to play it real cool because he knows who's in control. He gets it, and he knows he's on YouTube, and if he says the wrong things, he's going to catch a bunch of labels, and he's going to lose his career, and he makes a lot of money. But he does... I know what he thinks. I know what you think, AJ. I really do. You allude to it pretty strongly, but you just don't say it outright. But everybody knows what you're saying.
They looked up Eastland's patent, and the language was crystal clear.
Application.
Iron Chair says HARP is a thing 100%. They've admitted to staying weather events as early as 1955. Yeah. Yes, they have. And I believe it 100%. Yep.
Discussed in the patents included destroying missiles. Communications control and disruption were included. There were some other ideas, both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space, where hopefully it would be able to deflect missile trajectories.
Those are Eastland's own words.
SB says how he gets around it is by having a quasi-cartoon character say it instead. Yeah, he does this real tongue-in-cheek kind of like, he plays it like that, like it's a joke, and it is, but like, it's not a joke. You ain't joking. You ain't joking. And look, I completely respect that you're trying to make $1. I do. And you have your opinions that you can't share. I do respect that, and I'm not giving you heat whatsoever for kind of being real low-key about it. I am. But we know what you think, AJ. We do. And we all agree with you. We all. And that's why you have almost 5 million subs.
For ionosphere research. As HARP rose in the Alaskan wilderness, the military's intentions were obvious. They weren't just studying the sky. They were
because look, people are stupid, but people ain't that stupid. A lot of people aren't that stupid. There's a lot of stupid people, trust me. People that go to, there's a lot of dumbasses. Sure. Probably a third of the country is pretty fucking stupid. But everybody else is not that stupid. Right? And people are fucking sick. They're sick and tired of all this bullshit. And I feel like there is a change in the air. You feel it too.
Weaponizing it.
It's Okay to Be Christian gifted 1 subscription to the Incredible Sulk. I'll give you a bell for that. Thank you.
There are several
Boom.
high-powered
Thank you.
radio antennas around the world, but in relation
And SB got it. Congratulations, SB.
to HARP, they're like a child's cap gun compared to a 50-millimeter cannon.
I wonder how they pass out those subscriptions, because you pay for them, and I think it's just the next person who comments gets it.
When locals
Or
discovered
somebody gets it. I don't know.
what DARPA and the Air Force were building in Alaska, they demanded answers. The military admitted to building antennas that could affect the atmosphere, but insisted they use technology different than Eastland's patents.
Hang on. Let me see
Welcome
if
to the cult, SB. You're part of the cult now. You're a subscriber. You have, and so you're part of the cult. That's how it works.
Bala.
Go ahead.
Tesla dies. The government steals his plans for a death ray machine. They lose the plans. Then, by some miracle, they find a guy who patents a bunch of stuff based on Tesla's death ray machine. So they give him money to build this HARP thing, but they're not using his stuff. They're using some other stuff, and it's all fine. Nothing to see.
It said it was random. Okay, well, it's random then.
Yeah, does that about sum it up?
That's cool.
Bullshit.
Eastland later confirmed the military's interest in his work. Before his death in 2007, he said, "HARP is the perfect first step toward a plan like mine. There are powerful people involved. The military never sleeps."
The holographic doctor says, I think it's random. I've been gifted subs without saying anything. Yeah, it's just random. I think it's just random. Well, I mean, it's Okay to Be Christian said it's random. It's probably random.
When you look at the other patents built upon the work of Eastland, it becomes clear how the military intends to use a HARP transmitter. It could give them a tool to replace the electromagnetic pulse effect of some atmospheric thermonuclear devices still considered an option by some planners. It can replace the huge, extremely low-frequency submarine communication system. It could replace the over-the-horizon radar.
Have you guys ever seen a submarine up close? They're actually enormous. Like, I thought submarines were, like, small. No, they're big. They're big-ass things. I would like to go aboard one just to, like, poke around and see, but they probably won't let me.
Radar system once planned for the current location of HARP with a much more accurate system.
The technical similarities between HARP and Eastland's patents are obvious to engineers. By 1993, DARPA and the Air Force had built a machine that could turn weather into a weapon, and they were excited to show off their new toy.
The statement that there is no association between the ionosphere and surface weather is an outright lie. We can artificially influence the Earth's...
Yep. Yeah, we know they can.
Aurora with a relatively small amount of energy, and we know that outbursts of the northern lights do change weather patterns. There is indeed mounting evidence that upper atmospheric events affect lower atmospheric weather and vice versa.
They've probably known this for a long time, too.
In 1996, the U.S. Air Force published Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025.
What year is it? I forget what year it is.
This wasn't science fiction. It was a military assessment.
Holographic Doctor says there was one in Seattle that's open to the public. I don't know if it's still there. A submarine? Okay, well, I'm not going to Seattle.
Of weather modification as a combat tool.
In Florida, we've been having some suspiciously powerful hurricanes. What was that one Hurricane Helene that went up to South Carolina and absolutely inundated them with water? That's never happened before. I'm just saying, before I moved here, like my neighbor has lived here for half a century. And he's like, yeah, before you moved here, I've never seen hurricanes like that the entire time I've lived here for half a century. And now that I moved here, it's happened twice. I've only lived here for 4 years. Twice. It's weird. It's a little strange.
The paper stated weather modification will become part of domestic and international.
It's okay to be Christian says if the Earth is warming, it's because they are warming it. I like how you put they in parentheses, like nobody knows what you're talking. They. That's possible. However, I think it's just going through a normal warming cycle. I don't think it is. I know it has nothing to do with human beings. I just know. That's just sounds fucking impossible to me.
National security and could be done unilaterally.
Rocky Macabre says, I told my mom about earthquake machines and race-specific bioweapons, and she called me a nut. I set it up with the Secretary of Defense and DOD. I didn't write that shit. Yeah. No, the race-specific bioweapons are absolutely a thing. That's very easy. Earthquake machines, I'm pretty sure are real. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but I'm pretty sure are real. Like what happened in Fukushima back in 2011, that didn't seem normal. Race-specific bioweapons, you can have person-specific bioweapons. It's just we know enough about like gene editing and like CRISPR technology. We're very good at genetics. We can make those things very easily. You can make them in a very small lab, right? You know, rogue nations can make race-specific bioweapons. It's not that hard. We do have the technology for that. Your mom just wants to be in the dark because she doesn't want to be afraid all the time. And she sounds like a boomer. Boomers don't know what's going on. They're really in the dark because they insist on being so.
Could have offensive and defensive applications and even be used for deterrence purposes. Weather warfare isn't new. During Vietnam, the U.S. conducted Operation Popeye. Cloud seeding to extend monsoon season over enemy supply routes. They called it making mud, not war.
It's okay, but Kristen says Dick Cheney was talking about race-specific bioweapons back in the day. Yeah, it's not that hard. They do that. Hey, Rocky Macabre. Hey, Rocky, what the fuck? That's a big one. Thank you so much. There's the bell for you. He gifted 5 subscriptions to the Incredible Sulk. That's $50. It's $25. Thank you so much.
It's your operation names. It's like naming your guillotine Mr. Snippy.
Thank you, Rocky. We love you too.
For years, the idea of creating...
Kabuki says, yeah, I'm part of the cult now. You always were.
Rain with electricity was a conspiracy theory.
But then...
Dubai is making it rain in a sweltering desert by zapping clouds with electricity using drones.
Hey, on the job.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Critics argue HAARP's power is too low to affect global weather. A lightning bolt contains 1 billion watts. A hurricane releases energy equal to thousands of nuclear bombs. How could HAARP compete? Well, the answer is chaos theory. Weather is a chaotic system. In chaotic systems, small changes trigger larger events. The classic example is the butterfly effect. We're not playing pub trivia.
Sorry, go ahead.
He was in that movie. And who else was the butterfly effect? I don't know. That movie kind of sucked.
HAARP's designers understood chaos theory. They didn't need to match nature's power. They just needed to know where to apply the pressure. A butterfly's wings can start a tornado, and HAARP was the most powerful butterfly ever created.
And it was on the lower back of some whore. That's how it started.
What they're not paying any attention to is what's happening to the ionosphere. If they pick the right frequency to push that plume out into space, that energy may discharge back out of the ionosphere, back.
By the way, in Florida, people get hit by lightning like all the time.
Down the radio beam and strike the earth. And it would be about
On the John says, I'm starting a drunk stream in a few minutes playing Wasteland 2. I'll raid you then. How about that? I'll raid you.
100 times the
Here,
energy
let me follow
released
you.
out of a thunderbolt.
Hold on. I'll see how I on the John, follow.
Picking up now.
Okay. I'll raid you. Because I'm a nice person. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. We look out for each other. That's the thing.
And it would be about...
I usually raid Mersh, but Mersh has no problem. I mean, he's a bigger channel.
100 times the energy released out of a thunderbolt.
Let's see if I can just...
Meteorologist Edward N. Loren
sure
presented this concept in 1972. And his point was something as small as a butterfly could set off a series of events that eventually lead to a tornado. History is full of butterfly effects. Hitler wanted to be an artist, but he was rejected by the art school in Vienna.
I think he's a good artist. I think he did well. But now we got Kanye. Kanye's doing it up right.
Goes a different path. On August 9th, 1940...
On the John, why don't you go ahead and start your stream? And then once I finish this, I'll rate you. This wine.
1945, the city of Kokura was supposed to be hit with an atomic bomb, but it was too cloudy to find the target, so Nagasaki was chosen instead. HAARP doesn't need to match nature's power. It needs a tiny, precise nudge at the right place and time to trigger catastrophe. By 1977, weather manipulation was such a concern that the UN banned it through the Environmental Modification.
Rocky McCobb says the architectural drawings from Hitler were quite good, in my opinion. I've never seen them, actually. I'm sure they really bury Hitler's art. Like, let's be fair, he had good ideas. But they probably bury him, man. They probably just absolutely bury it.
Convention.
Did the United States military listen to the UN?
No. The UN specifically addressed HAARP in 1999, again calling for a ban on technologies that can alter the...
Rocky says some of those landscapes they always show sucked. I would like to see his full catalog because I bet a lot of his art is actually pretty decent.
Environment for military purposes.
Especially if he thought he was able to get into art school. I bet they're pretty decent.
Did the United States military listen to the UN this time?
No. The UN issued multiple resolutions calling for transparency, oversight, and international monitoring of facilities like HAARP.
Did the United States military, oh, never mind.
In 2002...
No, yeah, Hecklefish. Come on, you're asking too many questions. Heck. You poor naive goldfish.
Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed concern about geophysical weapons that could
Putin's
alter
my
the
boy.
weather.
Putin's my
He was
nigga.
talking about HAARP. Then Russia and China built their own ionospheric heaters. They saw the military value. An arms race nobody talks
Despite what you've heard, it says he wasn't terrible, but he was nothing special. As far as art goes, he was perfectly adequate. Okay, I believe that too.
about is happening above our heads right now. But HAARP had another ability more powerful than changing weather. By pulsing radio waves at specific frequencies, HAARP created low-frequency waves that penetrate deep into the earth and oceans.
What's with the rainbow? What's with the... Is this Hitler's art? What's with the rainbow? I mean, that seems a little bit weird to add the rainbow. It's not bad, though. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But the rainbow just seems a little kooky. It seems a little kooky for, you know, Hitler. But whatever. Wait, where was I?
What can I get you?
How did I lose it?
I'd like a large coffee.
Okay, so hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Okay, room for cream.
Totally leave room for cream.
Wait.
Why are you talking like that?
Why are you talking like that?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. Anyways, I don't even care. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to sign off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's stream, and I didn't do my premium, so I'll do a stream tomorrow. Well, it'll be premium only, but a lot of people are members now, so you will be able to watch that. So come on by. I'll have some chats. Maybe I'll play some guitar. We'll just chill out. We'll have a chill Saturday stream. I gotta get my premium numbers up anyway. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being a part of the cult. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being you. You know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. Anyways, until then, until tomorrow, I hope you guys stay awesome, stay great, do those things that make me proud of you. And, you know, get a good night's sleep, drink some water, take care of yourselves because I care about you too. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. All right. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, roaring like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.